Good afternoon everyone. Thanks for joining me again. The video that I'm doing today is the video that almost every landscape photographer that has a YouTube channel eventually does, because this is what's in my camera bag. So if I'm going to be honest, I have been putting off doing this for a while now. I've thought about doing it a few times and just could never really get the motivation to do it. In fact, I probably still wouldn't have done it, but I've had a couple of requests from people saying, when are you going to do a what's in my bag video? I decided to do it outside rather than sitting in the office. I'm on my way off on a hike and I thought I'd stop and just talk you through it. So this actually is probably more about what is my camera bag, what's in it and what's on it, than just what's in it. So we'll start off with the bag. This bag is not actually a camera bag. It is, I believe they call it an expedition pack. It's designed for mountaineering, long distance cross-country skiing, that kind of stuff. It's made by Mammut. It's the Trion Pro 50+7. It's pretty big, probably bigger than I need actually, but I bought it because it's designed to carry a reasonable amount of weight over reasonably long distances as comfortably as possible, and it absolutely does that. This bag is really comfortable, but also because it's easily configured as a camera bag. So if I look at the bag, it is pretty big. It has a top opening here, so we can undo the two snaps here, and then there's a drawstring duffel opening in the top. I'm not going to open that up now, but basically that's one access into the bag, and this bag can be extended up to about this tall if you need to. So if you want to put a lot of extra stuff in there, you can. This is summertime, it's warm, so I'm not carrying loads of extra clothing and other stuff in here. So I've got it compressed down as far as it will go. But this bag also has a zipper here, like a lot of camera bags do. So that provides easy access to my camera gear. So it was the combination of the comfort and the configurability that sold me on this bag. And I love it. It's a great bag. Really happy with it. It also has quite a lot of attachment straps and points on the outside that you can put things on, and I do. So we'll start off with my tripod. This is a Manfrotto. I think it's the 055 CXProB, I think. It is a pretty big tripod. It's quite tall, and it's very stable, very sturdy, but it's also made of carbon fibre, so it's not drastically heavy to carry. I mean, it's not the lightest tripod in the world, but it's not ridiculously heavy. It is quite big even when it's folded up, but it's not too bad. And then on top of that I have a Manfrotto ball head, the model of which I absolutely cannot remember, but if I can find it I'll stick it on here. So that's my tripod. On the other side of the bag I have my most recent addition. This is a Camelbak UnBottle or UnBottle, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's on here, and it's a hydration pack. So this carries 3 litres of water with a drinking tube. I used to carry a 1.5 litre metal bottle with a neoprene insulator on it, but to be honest, in the summer for longer hikes 1.5 litres of water isn't enough. And the other problem is, if you are carrying a bottle of water on the rucksack and you want to have a drink, you have to take the rucksack off, you have to take the bottle off, you have to have a drink, put the bottle back, put the rucksack back on, and away you go. So you tend to put off having a drink until you're really thirsty. And the problem is, once you get thirsty, you're already dehydrated. With this, I can have a sip of water whenever I want, and probably every 2 or 3 minutes I'm sipping water. Okay, so inside the bag, so as I said, it has a zipper opening here, which gives me access into the bag. And in here I have an f-stop large slope internal camera unit, and that provides the rigidity and the organisational capability to keep all my camera gear where I want it to be. And there's plenty of room in there for all my stuff. So, my camera. It's a Nikon D810. For those that want to know the specs, it's a full frame sensor, 36 megapixels. I don't know what else to say. I love it. It's a great camera. It's been replaced now by the D850, which has got even higher resolution and lots of other features. But I love this camera. It's superb. The detail that you get on the images from this are great. I also have on it an L bracket. I have no idea what make it is. No idea. But this allows me to fit the camera on the tripod, both in the normal horizontal or landscape format, and also in a portrait or vertical format, without the need to tip the head over and therefore put the camera off center on the tripod. They're not very expensive and really, really useful. On the camera at the moment is my wide angle zoom lens, which is the Nikon 16-35 f4 GED lens. It's a great lens, nice and sharp, plenty wide angle, nothing more to say. Great lens. Also in here I have my telephoto zoom lens. This is the Nikon 70-200 f2.8 G2 ED lens. Now, when I was looking at lenses, I did look at buying the f4 lens, which would have been smaller and lighter and a bit cheaper. But I got such a ridiculously good price on this that I couldn't say no. So I ended up buying this. I don't regret it. I don't use the f2.8 capabilities, or perhaps more to the point, I haven't done yet. But I might do. And although it is a little bit heavier than the f4, considering all the rest of the stuff that I'm carrying, I don't think it makes a big difference. And it's a beautiful lens, really sharp, superb. You may have noticed that my lenses go from 16-35 and then 70-200. So what about the middle? So is there a 24-70 lurking in here? No, there isn't. I almost never shoot in that middle range. I like to use wide angle to extend perspective for compositional effect, and I like to use telephoto to compress perspective for compositional effect. I almost never shoot in the middle, so I looked at the 24-70 f2.8. It's a beautiful lens, but it's big, it's heavy, and it's expensive. So I decided to save space, weight, and money and not buy one. If I do need something in the middle, I use this. It's the 50mm f1.8 fixed focal length prime lens. Cheap, light, very sharp, doesn't take up much room in the bag. You may have noticed that these lenses have got this big white lens cap on, and that's because I have my Lee filter adapter rings on the lens ready for use, with the exception of the 50mm, just because the ring is bigger than the lens and it makes it difficult to store. So I just keep it off, and I don't use it very often. So that's the adapter rings, the Lee filter holder, space in here, 2 slots in here for square or rectangular filters, and then there's a screw ring on the front to take circular polarizer. filters. I have ND grads. I have 2-stop soft edged. I have 2-stop hard edged, and I have a 3-stop hard edged. If I'm honest, I would quite like to have a 3-stop either soft or medium edged, but I can't quite bring myself to spend the money on it at the moment. I also have the 6-stop little stopper for long exposures. I have the 10-stop big stopper for even longer exposures, or long exposures in brighter light. And I have the circular polarizing filter. I have in here a cable release for when I need that. I always use either a cable release or the 2-second timer rather than touching the camera to shoot. And then I have some cleaning gear, so some microfiber cloths, throw them on the floor, a blower, and some cleaning fluid. Particularly useful to have the cleaning fluid shooting around by the sea, because if you get saltwater spots on the lens, it's better to give them a quick squirt with that before wiping them off, especially if they've dried a little bit. And then I have basically spare power, so I have a couple of spare batteries for the D810, and then assorted batteries and power packs to things like my phone, video camera, and other bits and pieces. And then also in here I have some spare memory cards, CF and SD, because the D810 takes one of each. In this top pocket here, I tend to keep stuff that I might want to grab quickly, but at the moment the only thing that's in there is my head torch. Essential if you're going out shooting early in the morning and arriving while it's dark, or if you're shooting in the evening and heading back when it's dark. Lets you see your kit and also find your way safely. This is a black diamond which has got multiple lights on it. It's very bright, but you can dim it down if you don't need the brightness. I do have some other stuff in the back, but I'm not going to pull it all out now. So in the back I do have a waterproof shell, just in case. I'm certainly not going to need it today, but it's so light I just leave it in the bag all the time. And I have a little emergency kit, so it's got a little first aid kit in there, and it's also got a backup head torch just in case something goes wrong with that one and I'm stuck out somewhere in the dark. And the only other thing that I have in here at the moment, which I'm also not going to get out, is my picnic for later this evening. So I've got a sandwich and a bag of crisps. The only thing that then leaves is the video camera, which at the moment is filming me. So I'm going to have to stop filming now and swap things over. Okay, so I've had a swap round and the D810 is now shooting video, and I do use it for shooting video sometimes as well, because obviously it has quite a good quality video recording capability. But of course, if I'm using the D810 for shooting a landscape scene, I can't use it to be videoing myself at the same time. And also I don't really want to be carrying it around and holding it up, talking to it when I'm walking along. So what I use is this. This is a little action camera. It's made by a company called Interva. For the life of me I can't remember. I think it was something like an HD1. I bought it years ago. It was designed for underwater use, and I bought it as a kind of backup camera because I used to shoot underwater video, and this was designed to be a backup in case my main big video camera ever packed up. I never used it underwater, but when I started doing these videos I thought, well, I don't really want to spend money on things if I don't have to, so I thought I'll try with this to start with, and so far it's served me pretty well. It's waterproof, and it's very robust, so I mean this has fallen over a few times and it doesn't break very easily. I have it on a Benro lightweight travel tripod, which is pretty light, and I use the tripod as kind of a selfie stick sometimes when I want to hold the camera pointing towards me. And of course I can also set it up, and you know, the legs extend on it like any tripod, and it can be useful for if I actually want to film myself without actually having to hold the video camera. It's not the most up-to-date camera in the world, as I say, and it doesn't record sound. Well, it does, but it's rubbish. So I record all my sound separately. I have a microphone here and just a little audio recorder here, and I record the sound separately and sync it up afterwards. If there's anything that's going to be changed in the not too distant future, it's probably this. I could probably do with something a little bit better, with a little bit more capability, but to be honest, at the moment I haven't got a clue what I'm actually going to change it to. So until I figure that out, I'm sticking with this one. That's it. That's my gear. For me, I'm now heading off to go and find a scene to shoot in a couple of hours around about sunset. But you're going to have to tune in for the next video to see that. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions or any comments, then please leave them down below. And as always, likes, shares and comments are much appreciated. Tune in to the next video to see where I go from here. And until then, thanks very much for watching. Bye.